What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I was sitting here wondering, should I publish another video about some Hollywood celeb being a moron, or do I want to put out a video on a very important issue that maybe I would have put this on Midwestly, a channel that I originally started to kind of put all of my quote-unquote content that is overtly political. But in talking to you in Discord and in other areas, it seems like I'm the only one imposing that restriction on myself. And it's stupid. Why would I? Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres is a hilarious monster behind the scenes. But what happened today was perhaps the biggest move of big tech censorship yet. And it could be the first big domino to having actual action done by this administration. An administration that continues to let me down in terms of fighting tech censorship. And so I said, frick it. I'm going to just start covering some of these things that are a little more world news on the main channel, because clearly I can't fit the political channel into my schedule, and these topics are important. So if you want me to keep covering this here, drop a like and let me know. If you don't, then I guess dislike it. So this morning, now I wouldn't necessarily use Breitbart as a news source, but in general, they are the source of this news. They had a very, very popular video, which was essentially Breitbart live streaming a press conference. It wasn't content that they were producing, from what I could tell. It was a press conference with a Republican senator, and I think that's part of it. You know, part of what really annoys me, and smash like, or what was Davey 504? Slap like if you agree. I wish that we could just get our medical facts without the politics and the spin. That would be great. Slap like if you'd like to know if you could send your kids back to school without worrying about if it's about Orange Man bad or not. That's what honestly is driving this. This is one of the primary reasons this country looks like so foolish right now. You got one half of the country that's just going about their life, and then you got another half of the country that is living in fear. Vacuum sealing themselves into a tent they bought off Amazon and living off DoorDash. The correct answer is somewhere in the middle, as always. Obviously, everything going on out there needs to be respected, in my opinion, but also you only get one life. And I'm not going to spend the next 3 years in fear. Just not going to do it. And if you want to, that's your right. Me, if it gets me, it gets me, all right? If it gets me, you can all dunk on me on Twitter, because I'm not there to see it anymore. So Facebook has removed a video posted by Breitbart News earlier today, which was the top performing Facebook post in the world Monday afternoon. I have a press conference held in D.C., held by a group of American frontline doctors and organized and sponsored by the Tea Party Patriots. Was this entire presentation partisan? Probably. The press conference featured Republican Ralph Norman and frontline doctors sharing their views and opinions on everything going on right now and the medical response. YouTube, which is owned by Google, and Twitter subsequently removed the footage of a press conference, by the way. Right there, all right? Section 230 needs to go. Even if you suspend it temporarily, let these people get flooded with lawsuits and see how long they want to be a publisher, because that's what they're doing. Are you saying a news outlet, one obviously with a clear bias, like all news outlets for the most part, they can't cover a press conference? The very act of removing this, and they also suspended Donald Trump Jr. and removed the post from the president's Twitter feed. Again, a news conference. Twitter said, yeah, we're not gonna let the president share information that he wants to. We are the medical experts. Now, neither of them are, but maybe the guy with the whole task force dedicated to it might know something, or might know a little something. I'm not going to speak to whether or not what they said was correct or not, because I'm not a doctor. The fact of the matter is, doctors have always disagreed. It's happening right now out in front of us, right? You have these doctors that say, hey, we need to send everyone back to school, everything's fine. Then you got other doctors that you bring on who are like, oh no, the country needs to shut down for, I don't know, until the election. Then poof, we can reopen everything again because no more malarkey, right? I mean, you guys see that, right? You all see, and I know you do. I guess I'm speaking to people who are part of the 40% who aren't yet subscribed. Smash that subscribe button, please, so you get notified when I upload. Everyone should see that the information the American people are getting is all tainted. And it's disgusting. All right? Social media is using it to own druff. They're trying, if it is my opinion that there are some people out there that are motivated to keep schools closed to own druff. It is my opinion that there are some people who are motivated to keep businesses closed to own druff. They exist, all right? Now, there are also some people who want to open up to own the libs, so to speak. Neither side is acting in the best faith of the rest of us sitting out here in the middle. The 90% of Americans that just want to know if it's okay to send their kid to school, we aren't being served by mainstream media, which seeks to keep us all afraid. We're not being served by our social media, which is preventing information from reaching us. We're not being served by our local politicians who are sitting there and kowtowing and not fighting back against tech censorship. We're not being served by our president because he's more worried about owning CNN than getting out clean information. It's all bad. The video had 17 million views in 8 hours. It was hosted on Facebook.com with over 185,000 concurrent viewers. That is absolutely massive. The live stream had accumulated over 17 million views at the time of its censorship by Facebook. In terms of viral velocity, the post is beating content from many other prominent accounts Facebook today, like Hillary Clinton, Reverend Franklin Graham, don't know who that is, Kim Kardashian. That's sad that I know who Kim Kardashian is, but not a reverend. That's America these days. Over 185,000 viewers were concurrently watching the stream when it aired live Monday. Again, if this video gets removed, it gets removed. I have to start having more balls on this channel. I have to start covering stuff that actually matters. Yeah, it's fun to dunk on Hollywood celebs, but this stuff matters too. I don't know if everything they said is true. But what I can say is they were echoing the very same thing that another doctor wrote a week ago, 5 days ago, sorry, and was published on Newsweek. Newsweek published, the key to defeating this already exists. We need to start using it. Now, it's an opinion, but it's also the opinion of an MD and a PhD, a professor of epidemiology at Yale. Okay? And he's saying basically similar things to what this press conference was saying. And now, as I've said plenty of times on social media, I want you to have your own agency to protect yourself. You want to wear a mask everywhere you go, more power to you. You'll probably reduce the likelihood of getting something at some point. And if you sit there and you're not bothered by it, cool, absolutely more power to you. But when we look at the way social media is selectively deleting content, I mean, if we go back a month ago, not even the WHO and everyone else couldn't agree on masks, right? Now, if you say, I don't want a mask, now you're spreading misinformation. It's because not for protests, you don't need them for that. But if you're going to the grocery store, or you're going to church, or you're going to a funeral of your family member, you better wear a mask, otherwise you're the worst human on the planet. That's the media narrative. when you have, they shut down Breitbart's account, forcing them to delete it. And you have breaking: Twitter and Jack have suspended Donald Trump Jr. for posting a viral video of medical doctors talking about hydroxychloroquine. Big tech is the biggest threat to free expression in America today, and they're continuing to engage in open election interference. Full stop. I 100% agree. But if Trump doesn't get off his keister and really put the screws to Section 230 protections, it's only going to get worse. And you know what? Right now, they are doing it right out in the open. We all see it happening. I mean, the Twitter hack last week showed us that they have shadow bans after they publicly said, I believe testified, that they didn't have anything like that. So where are the lawsuits? Where is our government? I get the whole, well, they're dealing with this right now. No. Look, the government is gigantic. They take enough of our money out of our paychecks. Somebody up there can get in there and suspend Section 230, because that is the only alternative I can see right now. You have the president of the country trying to use a public square, which Twitter is, to inform the people of America. Twitter, which aren't doctors, said, no, can't do that. I'm not saying just because the president says something, it's true. In fact, we all know it's probably not true, and you could say that about every president. But if you yourself are deeming the grand arbiter of what the president can say, in what other country would that fly? In the UK, probably. They're just right out in the open, daring him to do something. And yes, he had his executive order, but it's time to put some teeth to it. This is going to get way worse over the next 6 months. And if Trump doesn't do anything about it, a lot of people like myself are going to be looking for someone who will. All right. And honestly, if he doesn't, it's probably going to greatly hurt his chances of even being reelected. The man has every possible, even because, you know, even if you like, okay, look, we know every president ever is selfish. There isn't a more selfish reason to get on something. Like, this is going to greatly reduce his chance of being reelected. I don't even necessarily care about all that, but if it gets rid of the censorship, I'm fine with it. If it gets these social media places in check, yeah, he can spend a couple of days dealing with it, please. You know, our First Amendment and all. Yes, I'm a private business. I understand. I hear you in the back. But that's fine. Then just remove their Section 230 protections. You want to be a private business? You want to publish content? You want to censor content? Awesome. Good by me. Now, forego your Section 230 protection, since you clearly want to be a publisher and not just a public space bulletin board. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.